This is Channel 8, the local sports network. We of course broadcast local sports around the northern Melbourne area. We are joined of course by our partners Bizz 99.9 FM Substitute Radio, and I am your host and lead commentator and the managing producer of sports production here at Channel 8, Chukka Wilson. Welcome one and all. We are here today at the Campbell Street Oval in Diamond Creek to watch Day 2 of the Round 11 clash between Diamond Creek and the Research Eltham Collegians. This is the 2017-18 season. This is the G4 grade, and today is the 3rd of March. So, as Chukka Wilson, I welcome you to this broadcast. So we are going to be looking at the completion of this game, which is round 11 of the 2017-18 season, which of course means that this is the final day of cricket in the home and away season in this season. The very next week, 7 days time, it will be the 10th of March, it will be Labor Day weekend, and it will be semi-final time. So we are coming towards the finale of this season. So this is the G4 grade game, and we are going to be watching Diamond Creek versus the Research Eltham Collegians. So, we watched Day 1 happen last week. Diamond Creek batted first, and because of there being some rain, it not only meant that we did not get the full allotment of 68 overs, but compulsory closure is no longer in effect. And Diamond Creek batted out the entirety of the day, which we only got half of the allotted overs, just over half. So we got 38 overs of play, and Diamond Creek are no loss for 229. The two opening batsmen are still out there right now, Sexton and Conabear, and they are both on the exact same score of 111. So it's assumed that Diamond Creek will continue to bat on for today. Now, this is Channel 8, the local sports network, in association with our partners, Bizz 99.9 FM Substitute Radio. And I am your host, Chukka Wilson. Thank you very much for tuning into this broadcast, and welcome, and I hope we're going to have a good day of cricket in front of us. Now let's get back to the Diamond Creek situation. So we saw a very uncertain, interrupted, back and forth play relating to Diamond Creek's innings. They had to be forced off play several times because of the rain, and eventually the rain just reached a point where play had to stop entirely, and so that meant that we spent as much time staring at the rain as we did playing on the ground, and that's why we only got 38 overs. But through those 38 overs, because the ball was very damp, it meant that it did not pose a serious problem to the batsmen. The only time there were ever chances given to the fielding team were when the batsmen played such an aggressive shot that they nearly missed the ball and nearly hit the stumps, or it was nearly a catch, or it was a drop catch. So all of the chances that Research Eltham Collegians were given throughout the day were all batsman manufactured, not bowler manufactured. And that gives you a sense of the confidence and the bravado and the reckless abandon that the two Diamond Creek openers were willing to play at in order to advance the scoring rate. And as you can see, it was quite a scoring rate. Getting to just around that 6 runs per over mark. They are just about there right now at a run a ball. So 38 overs is 228 balls, and they are on 229, and so they are just on that mark of 6 runs per over. And throughout the early phases of Diamond Creek's innings, they were scoring at 4 runs and over, and then 5 runs and over, and as the day went on, as play got interrupted, as the rain came down, they were able to advance their scoring much further, and it eventually reached the point where they were going at more than a run a ball. So that is a demonstration of the exciting and aggressive scoring that Diamond Creek was able to bring to the table throughout last week, even though it was a very miserable day, very wet and very cold, and there was a very strong wind which was interrupting everything. The fact of the matter is that Diamond Creek were determined, were in control, had a clear head, were not willing to give way to the emotions of the situation, were not willing to just do something reckless, and they were able to take full advantage of the situation, and that's why they're on such a very good score right now, and they are in a position right now to go even further, because they could, there is nothing stopping them from just batting out in the entirety of today. They could easily just continue scoring at 5 or 6 runs per over for the entirety of the 68 overs, and of course 68 overs times 6 is getting into the 400s, so there's no reason why if they decided to continue batting on and just bat till stumps today, and they didn't lose enough wickets, well, they could score something at, at least 500, maybe 600, and that's the sort of position they're in. There is the question of whether or not Diamond Creek think they have a chance of making the finals, because it was explained that they do not have enough points, and their percentage is very poor, which means there is only going to be 2 real ways that they could possibly make the finals, considering the dynamics at play in the ladder and the current situation with the final round of home and away matches, which is either win this game outright or win with a monumental margin. So, how they would win on first innings on a monumental margin. So, if they batted on till, I don't know, lunch, and then they decided to declare, they would have to bowl out Research Eltham Collegians in the remaining 38 overs of the day, but bowl them out twice, and then they would get the outright win. So that would be almost impossible. The other option would be they could try and declare overnight, try and give themselves 68 overs in order to take enough wickets to win on first innings, and then also apply the follow-on and bowl them out again. Now that would be difficult as well. The other option would be to try to bowl out Research Eltham Collegians just once, and it would have to be a very low score. They would have to bowl them out for 10, 20, and that would if they declare something like none for 400 and bowled out Research Eltham Collegians for 10, then that might give them the percentage boost enough to make up the difference, because it is a gigantic difference in terms of percentage, so something like that. So it is pretty much statistically impossible for Diamond Creek to actually win this game in such a way that they could get into the finals. Both an outright win and a monumental first innings win are very unlikely. And the indications that I have received from the Diamond Creek captain, off the record of course, is that it's so unlikely that he is not willing to recklessly throw this game away in the hope of a victory such that they would need. So he would prefer it if this was a good this game was a good performance for Diamond Creek that involved a lot of good performances by individual players. A really nice way to end the season, with everyone contributing, everyone getting something out of this game, and having the season end on a good note. That was his clear indication about his intentions. He's already said that he's planning on having him come in the batting lower down the order to make sure that other people get an opportunity today, and that's a clear indication that his mind is not aimed at winning this game, because if he was wanting to win this game, he would come in number 3 and try to continue the scoring from wherever a first wicket fell. But as far as we can tell, it seems that Diamond Creek just want to continue batting on, and the only thing that could possibly stop them would be if they got bowled out, and that is obviously a real possibility. It's not unheard of that you have an amazing time one day, and then you come back the next day and it goes absolutely horrible, and you just can't get anything right. Your rhythm's gone, and all the luck goes against you, and you end up losing a bunch of wickets. So that's a possibility. The possibility that Diamond Creek just cannot continue on from where they left off. These two batsmen struggle to get back into their rhythm of their innings. They fall, and then the new batsmen come in, and they aren't in a position to take advantage of the situation, and they also fall, and then Diamond Creek just petters out to being all out for 350, 300, 325, 375, something like that, and then it allows Research Eltham to bat out the rest of the game for whatever they want to do. That's obviously a real possibility, that we're not going to see any great batting from Diamond Creek for the rest of the match. But there are certainly factors at play that give Diamond Creek an advantage here, which gives them the possibility of continuing on from where they've left off. So, the ball is absolutely wrecked. It was damaged very badly from all the rain and the soggy outfield and being hit all across the ground, and so the ball will not help the bowlers at all. That's factor one. Two, we saw the best of the bowlers that Research Eltham could provide, and they are all medium pacers. They're not bowling fast enough that they could really beat the bat on pace or movement or anything, or trickery. So there's nothing in the Research Eltham Collegian bowling attack that suggests that they should be able to blast Diamond Creek out or restrict Diamond Creek into doing something silly and throwing away their wickets. The constant rate of bad balls allowed Diamond Creek to take advantage of them, and so there's no reason why you would imagine that Research Eltham coming back today would obviously it wouldn't be junk. It would still be, they would still try to be competitive, but there's no sense that they would actually be in a situation where they could actually take control of this game through shutting down the Diamond Creek innings. Through much of the day one's play, there was a bizarre situation where most of the Research Eltham fielders were on the fence and saving a boundary, and maybe one or two were saving the one. And so it was a completely defensive field. The bowling was defensive. It wasn't aimed at hitting the stumps. It was just aimed at restricting the way that the batsman could hit it. And so that was the sort of defensive bowling that you would see in a one-day game. And we were seeing it on day one of a two-day game. And so from that, that's another factor at hand that would say that Diamond Creek certainly could come out today, continue from where they've left off. Because if Diamond Creek can continue from where they've left off, then they should be aiming at 500 minimum, maybe 600. Because by scoring at 6 runs and over on an awful pitch, or an awful ball, small ground, bowling attack that is not very penetrating, there's no reason why they cannot continue scoring at 6 runs and over. Even after Sexton and Connie Bear are gone, then there's Bellingham and Gleeson and Evans and a few others who could also continue the hitting. And so the possibility of this continuing on for much further is certainly on the cards. And so it will be very interesting to see what Diamond Creek's attitude today is and how they are going to advance their scoring, because right now all of the key question is going to be whether or not Diamond Creek can continue on from where they've left off, pittering out to being 350 all out and then allowing Research Eltham Collegians to join in by scoring some runs, or scoring 600 and really just and batting till stumps and just absolutely crushing Research Eltham with an amazing and tremendous batting display. So those are the variables. Alright, so now let's take a break, and then we are going to continue discussion of the current situation in this morning show. So enjoy this break, enjoy this video montage, and when we come back we've got more to discuss. This is Channel 8, the local sports network.
The last remains of Pompeii burn. I got about it, just returned to see the ashes covering the town. Empires burned and cities fell, while lovers kissed and said farewell, and laid their fragile bodies on the ground. But I'm not scared to burn to dust. I will return again if you'll stay by my side. I'll lay down and I won't hide from fate. Vesuvius was growing colder. Embers that had hotly smoldered settled in to lifeless dust below. The gadabout was still alive, but not another soul survived. So through the blackened streets he walked alone. But I'm not scared to burn to dust. I will return again if you'll stay by my side. I'll lay down and I won't hide from fate. Centuries will come and go, the sun will shine, the wind will blow, and we will curse the passing of the years. But time's eternal, day by day, it's us who pass and blow away. Soon no one will remember we were here. But I'm not scared to burn to dust. I will return again if you'll stay by my side. I'll lay down and I won't hide from fate.
Alright, so now let's have a look at the round the grounds situation. This is of course the G4 grade. It's the 2017-18 season and this is round 11, day 2. So now let's have a look at the other 2 games that are happening in the G4 grade and say how they're going. We already know that Diamond Creek are none for 229 after 38 overs, with Connie Bear 111 not out, Sexton 111 not out also, and there are no Research Eltham Collegian highlights to say because they haven't taken a wicket yet, so their bowling column is blank. So now let's have a look at the other 2 games. So we have Hurst Bridge versus Mill Park at the Mill Park Secondary College. Hurst Bridge batted first, all out for 165 in the 47th over. Joyson 54, Lovett 50, and Cookson 17. And for the Mill Park bowlers, Aquilina 3 for 10, Sacco 2 for 26, Duran 2 for 21, and D Gerati 1 for 41. In response, Mill Park have batted for 21 overs, so batting out the remainder of the day's play. They are 2 for 76, with B Harris on 37 not out, and Nara Simhan on who made 21. And we do not have any Hurstbridge bowling highlights for you there because the statistics weren't registered. So Mill Park are halfway to defeating Hurstbridge in this game, and that would be significant because Hurstbridge are so far in front on first place that it would be nigh impossible for them to be usurped. But this means that Mill Park, if they continue to bat as they have been and they end up chasing down this score, it means that they would go to 36 points on the ladder, which means that they would be on the same number of points as Research Eltham Collegians. And the significant thing is that if Research Eltham Collegians, we'll assume that Research Eltham Collegians draws this game versus Diamond Creek, then they would go to 39 points, and so Mill Park would retain 4th place because they have a superior percentage to Panton Hill. But if Research Eltham were to lose this game by a significant margin, where they actually do bat out their first innings and get bowled out for 20 or 30, then their percentage might change and they would not also get the extra points for the draw, which means that Mill Park might actually be able to leapfrog them into 3rd place, which would mean that Research Eltham would go down to 4th place. But again, they could not be leapfrogged by Panton Hill because Panton Hill have a inferior percentage, and so it would just change the composition of the semi-finals. It would not change who is actually playing in the semi-finals. Now let's have a look at the other game. We have Plenty versus Rosanna at the Diamond Hills Reserve. Plenty batted first and were able to bat out the entirety of the day's play and coming to compulsory closure. So 68 overs batted, and they have 9 for 400 flat. Pierre's scored 112, Johns 105, Robertson 63, Chaudhry 22, Gleeson 12, Robertson 15. For the Rosanna bowlers, McCulloch 2 for 49, Austin 1, Burke 1, Bryant 1, Sanderson 1. And so Rosanna will have a huge task in front of them to be able to chase down this score. Virtually impossible, and so they are likely to suffer a defeat, and Plenty are most likely to get a victory. Now for Plenty in the ladder, this victory won't mean much. It does mean that they cannot possibly be kicked off their second place, because the only way that Plenty could have lost their second place would have been if Research Eltham Collegians in this game defeat Diamond Creek and Plenty lose, and that would mean that Research Eltham and Plenty are on equal points, but because of their victory, Research Eltham would get a boost in their percentage and end up winning, end up getting into second place. Now, with Plenty winning this game, it means that with Plenty set to win this game, it means that that would be impossible, and of course Research Eltham do not look like they're going to win this game, so that's impossible, and so it looks like it's going to be a Plenty victory, a Plenty second place. Now, there is one little thing that could happen, which is if the Plenty try to win outright, because the point system of the ladder is rather interesting right now, because Hurstbridge are on 51 points, Plenty are on 42. And so if Plenty were to defeat Rosanna outright, so bowl Rosanna out twice, they already have the runs to defend, they just have to take 20 wickets in 68 overs. If that happens, Plenty will get 10 points, taking them to 52. And right now, Hurstbridge are facing a defeat at the hands of Mill Park. that would cause a situation such that Hurstbridge would remain on 51 and be leapfrogged. They would be pushed down to second place. So that would mean that the semi-final weekend would compose of Plenty versus fourth place, and then Hurstbridge versus third place. And then it's just a matter of working out who that would be. Whether, because Mill Park would get the win, but then it's a question of what will happen in this game. So if that happened, if Plenty win outright, then the question would be what would happen to this game, because if it's a draw, then Research Eltham will play Hurstbridge and Plenty will play Mill Park. But if Research Eltham lose in this game at the hands of Diamond Creek, then Mill Park will be playing Hurstbridge and Plenty will be playing Research Eltham. So those are the variables. And as I've said before, the question of who actually gets into the finals is pretty much done for, because everyone who would want to try to get into the finals is not in a position to do so, or has not enough points, or doesn't have a good enough percentage. And so it seems right now that it's virtually impossible for anyone to get into the finals who isn't already there right now. And so we are going to have those 4 teams compete in the finals, and it's just a question of the variables at play to decide who plays who. So I'm pretty confident that the G4 ladder has been settled, and that we know what is just about going to happen in the semi-finals. And so it's just a matter of seeing who does what on the day. Alright, so now let's just spend some time looking at the weather. So we have had quite an unusual week with lots of fluctuations in terms of the temperatures. So if you'll remember, Saturday was quite moderate throughout much of the day because of that cool change that brought across, and so and that brought also a bit of rain. So we had 0.4 millimeters of rain on Saturday, and the high temperature was 31, but of course that was before the cool change came along. Then on Sunday it was 19.8, which was a consequence of that cool change completely changing the weather tone throughout the coming days. Monday was 26.5, starting to pick up a bit. Then by Tuesday it had picked up again, so it got back into the 30s. Tuesday was 31.3, Wednesday was 30.9, and none of those involved any rain. And then on Thursday the temperature dropped back down. It was 21 degrees with 0.8 millimeters of rain. And then on Friday it was 22 with 0.4 millimeters of rain. And so the temperature has been going down lately, and there's been a bit more rain. But today is of course Saturday, and we had an overnight minimum of 15 degrees, and the Weather Bureau says that today is going to be 31 degrees with a little bit of early morning fog, a cool southerly in the late afternoon, to be mostly sunny with light winds, virtually 0% chance of rain. They're marking it as a 5% chance that there's going to be rain today. So it is going to be a very hot, very dry, very sunny day today. It is going to be a complete contrast to what we saw last week. And so everything suggests that today we are going to actually receive the full allotment of 68 overs today, which means that that play won't be interrupted by the weather. So there's nothing left to happen, but for proper, real cricket to happen. And that's why when I said that, when I looked at the match situation, I said that, well, the ball's been trashed. It's going to be very hot for the fielding team. It's a small ground. Both of the batsmen have made hundreds last week. There's no reason why they can't continue on from where they've left off. And then once those two go, that the middle order comes in of Diamond Creek comes in and continues to score aggressively. And when you have people like Jackson Bellingham and Callan Gleeson and Damien Evans and William Jones just waiting for their chance to hit the ball around, there is no reason to suggest that we can't be staring at least 500 minimum, if not 600. So I would like to see a big 600 score for Diamond Creek throughout the course of today's play. Well, that has now updated you on everything. You now know the match situation here at Campbell Street Oval. You know the match situations of the other two games that are happening, and I've explained the ladder. So you know exactly what could happen under what circumstances. So now, the only thing that's left for us is to wait for the teams to walk onto the field and for the match situation to get underway. There were a couple of magpies. So, with that, it's time for us to wait for the players to walk onto the field and for the day's play to get underway. And so there's nothing left to be talked about for this morning show. And so we're going to take a break now, and when we come back, we are going to have the Diamond Creek batsmen walk back onto the field and the Research Eltham fielders walk onto the field, and we'll have the continuation of the day's play from where we left off in the very badly rain interrupted day one, which you saw here on Channel 8. So until then, this is Channel 8, the local sports network. I'm Chukka Wilson. We'll see you after this break.
I didn't want to take your honor away. You're just another toy to me, discarded prey. And I didn't want to hear you crying today. But everything is what it is, and you won't stay in pain for long. No, you are strong. Please, I'm done with the bad disease. You're torn and holy. My mind is swimming in turpentine, dissolving slowly. You shiver like an earthquake shaking your heart. You crack a fissure, exposing every inch of your deepest part. And I never meant to make you crumble apart. But you've got a life ahead, so go and start to cauterize your wounded cries. Please, I'm done with the bad disease. You're torn and holy. My mind is swimming in turpentine, dissolving slowly.
And welcome back, everyone. Well, as you can see, everyone has arrived at the ground. Both the Research Eltham Collegian players and the Diamond Creek players. The pavilion has been opened up. Everyone has gotten changed into their whites. The Research Eltham team has wandered onto the wicket, and you might be able to see that on the balcony we have the Diamond Creek batsmen padded up, ready to walk out there. No wait, those are two Research Eltham fielders, so there's no sign of a Diamond Creek batsman just yet. It is 2 minutes to 1 o'clock, and so we are not far away from play getting underway. So we have been patient. It did take us a little bit longer to get everything set up than normal. Normally the pavilion would be opened up at least half an hour before the play is about to start, but this time it was only a quarter of an hour, and so for the last 10 or so minutes there's been a lot of rushing around, but everything is now under control finally, and we are now at long last in a position to start watching some cricket, as we can see the Research Eltham players doing their last minute stretches, warm-ups, throw-arounds, getting ready for today's play. So we have had 38 overs. The score is 229 for no loss. Diamond Creek are in an awesome position, and they are now in a really have a choice of what they want to do from this point onwards. They could bat on and bat really aggressively and not lose enough wickets and end up with a score of 600. They could piddle out and fail to continue onwards, in which case they might get bowled out for 350, or they might declare and then hope to have a dash at Research Eltham come towards the end of the second half of today's play. So those are the variables, those are the questions of what Diamond Creek will do, what Diamond Creek choose to do, what Diamond Creek are forced to do through their own decisions, mistakes, or gambles. And so that's all on the cards, that is all what we're going to be seeing today. So now it's just a matter of seeing what is going to happen from here. So as you can see, the Research Eltham fielders are wandering onto the field very slowly, just waiting for everything to get into position. All right. Alright, looks like we're about to start play. Alright, so let's take a break now. When we come back, we've got ball one.
The last bus is leaving and you're on the curb. You wanted to run, but you're lacking the nerve. And motionless standing, you can't find a word. The taillights are fading, your feet on the ground. Your bag's like an anchor, are weighing you down. You're more to the future, you're stuck in this town. turn to your left, and I'm standing alone with a numbness that's lingering deep in my bones. It looks like you're gonna be coming back home. And there for a moment, we're caught in a stare. The city just stops, all it hangs in the air. I once would have saved you, but now I don't care. So I turn around and go. When I turn around always on my mind when I'm sitting alone at night. When I grab a cold beer and I kill the lights, and you know that she makes me feel alright. Especially when she leaves her blinds open and I'm sitting by my window with my telescope, and I am hoping that she uses all her scented soaps while she's soaking in her tub for a half an hour. That beats the hell out of her usual shower, and she is on my mind. She'll never find me, I'm one step behind. And she never sees
I am Was Judward, and these are my Ganoushets. And this is a song from our upcoming album, International Songs of Mystique and Acclaim, and it's called Baba Ganoush.
Baba Ganoush is the hooch that I am looking for. Baba Ganoush is the hooch. Baba Ganoush is the hooch, so I am cooking more. Baba Ganoush is the hooch. Baba Ganoush is the hooch that we are looking for. Baba Ganoush is the hooch. Baba Ganoush is the hooch, so we are looking more. Baba Ganoush is the hooch. Baba Ganoush is the hooch that we are looking for. Baba Ganoush is the hooch. Baba Ganoush is the hooch, so we are looking more. Baba Ganoush is the hooch. Baba Ganoush is the hooch that we are looking for. Baba Ganoush is the hooch. Baba Ganoush is the hooch, so we are cooking more. Baba Ganoush is the hooch.
Thank you.